Hi everyone. I've already begun to record. I'll allow everyone in. I'll unmute you. And so most of you know how I do this. I just unmute you. And if you have a divine interruption, a question, just interrupt me at any time, a question or a comment. So, with this, welcome everyone, and we'll have a Ascension discussion. So, with this, it's nothing is scripted. It's an open discussion, and what I typically do is speak a little bit of some updates with the Ascension in the beginning, and then we just open it up for any questions or comments or additions. So, having said that, I'll begin with what's transpiring today, which is very divinely important. And for any of you, if you haven't seen it, I've put it out on Facebook, but also on this Telegram channel. The importance of listening to a 417 hertz sacral chakra clearing. And why this is important, it doesn't matter if you are an ascended master, enlightened one. You need to upgrade your energy in this area because we're in preparation of shifting into a higher vibratory timeline. So, having said this, I also am required to do it, and I've done it a bit, and I will do it some more. And because there is also the collection of negative residue, energetic negative residue that will also collect there, and you may not know it's there, but nevertheless, we need to clear what is there, because what is there does not belong in the next upper level of frequency that we are going into. So it has to be cleared here. And for all of you that have done your inner work and have accomplished a certain degree of mastery of your fear, we still need to do it. Now, this is for the ones that it's for the whole collective and all of humanity, to the degree that I put out 417 hertz. Whoever sees it in the ascending collective, they will do it. But as a result of every individual that does it, you're connected to the whole collective. So also the effects begin to ripple out through the collective network for you, but also all of the human souls that are ascending, that are also, let's say, not awake yet. It also affects them on a minor scale. What's upcoming is what I put in the update, is that we will be doing a divine emission release of the 417 hertz worldwide. And what this does, it directly balances the sacral chakra above the subliminal negative energy that is out there. Meaning that, yes, with energetic projections by the remnants of darkness or the matrix, the control system, what they were doing is different frequencies. So not only were they putting out frequencies uh, to lower the consciousness and also to lower the heart out of the activating range, they also were doing it with the sacral. Now, what was occurring, we had so many that were not awakening, if you will, to the truth, but we also had many that were superficially awakened, and it seemed that they were hitting blocks, not going forward with what we call the embodiment and the mastery of the fear spectrum. So, what has occurred at this most gracious time to remedy that? Uh, the projected nefarious hertz energy, we are overriding it divinely, and there will be the worldwide emission of that. And what it does, it frees up the sacral, so that the ones that need to get their quick uh, fear experiences to master it, they'll be subjugated to it very quickly, but it will be the natural, the way that it should have been, without any subliminal negative overlay that kept ones being suppressed and kept them looping and not be able to consciously identify the solution to master their fears. So, having said this, this is being divinely taken care of, and everyone being prepared for a, another upper layer, at least in frequency and vibration, and you'll see this reflected somewhat into your reality. So, you may see some chaotic things out there, but understand that ones are going through these quick tests as well, that were not awakened. And for the awakened ones, what this also does, it takes the pressure off of the consciousness not knowing what to do. So, what this does, it gives more of a connection as well to the consciousness, because energetically it allows for a thread connection up through your energetic prana, your center, up to the consciousness and the heart, to begin to put in the more upgraded natural resonances and frequencies of the higher heart and the higher consciousness. So overall, this assists. Now, it was beautiful tonight. I took some photos, I put some posts out, but after I put out the update earlier today, and we were given the divine direction through collaboration that what needed to be done with the 417 hertz, I've taken photos of a what represented in the sky a diamond-shaped black cloud. But as you watch on Facebook, if you go through the photos, you can see where one eye appears in the black cloud, and then you'll see somewhat almost two. Now, what this is significant is you see it's the right eye, which is with the right hemisphere of the brain, where all of your divine gifts and connections to those, where it lays. The right side of the brain is where all of your parapsychological abilities and gifts, where they reside, and the access to that um, is is where you develop more of these gifts as the consciousness receiving a more clearer direction on what and how to do. So again, by alleviating the distraction from the sacral, from the nefariously, if you will, projected energy, but everything is fine because divinely we are always on top of things and everything is divinely regulated. So, what you are seeing in those pictures, what the divine message is, going back to the diamond like shaped black cloud, you see the eyes opening in it. And what that is depicting and showing is by the fear being alleviated now in the sacral for many, their eyes begin to open, they begin to awaken. And not only that, with the already awakened ones, and in whatever degree you're in your divine ascension, mastery, and journey yourself, uh, this gets directly reflected into more of your abilities and gifts coming online as well as you clear the residue. So, very significant and again, very, very well confirmed. And just before that post, I had to do a live because I looked at the sky, and after I put out the update, there was a diamond rainbow that appeared. You would call it a sundog. Anyone in the past occurred to the right side of the sun, but it's a divine confirmation that the activation had been received by the reality, and it was already beginning, which was beautiful to witness. So as I looked, where the divine rainbow diamond bright light by the sun appeared, um, what that did is confirmed that already then the 417 sacral clearing was in process worldwide. And then with that, I began to see the ripples in the clouds, or, you could call stairways, but the skymatics, with the clouds in the sky, form the ripples. Like if you drop the pebble in the pool, you see the ripples. But this is also written in the update, what I put out previous. So it was obvious that these effects had already begun, and was showing it in the sky, if you will. Now, not only that, after I don't think I caught all of this on the live or on camera, but after that, it was also showing a spike-like array or a fan array of light that was coming out from the sun, depicting, if you will, part of what divinely we will be presenting to the planet in the lines of the 417 hertz shortly. But also, it showed that the ripples were fanning out, which was very good to see that again that quickly. And we had a blue sky here with a few white fluffy clouds. But then what began to occur was these very dark black substance like clouds. And I got some of those on the video and took some pictures. But what that was depicting and representing was already some of this black negative uh, fear energy was being cleared from the sacral, and of course it was depicted in the sky, and then as part of the transmuting process with the love and the purple violet flame, then the clouds began to turn purple and then pink, showing that it's being transmuted. So there was in the sky the full depiction movie of the whole process, what I witnessed here. And then also the sky after turned all pink. But again, for anyone that's following the updates I put out, you will see on Facebook, I didn't put it on Telegram, but on Facebook the other day, I put out a funding request, what I do periodically just for enough funds to conservatively survive on, but I needed to get a cottage, a reasonable small cottage here in Romania, because Father says I need to stay put at least at this time until about November, which is at this time a possible tentative date that we will be into the heaven on earth scenario, the new world with gpms.world, if you will. But nevertheless, in that post, I had also put, you will see the pink energy in the skies. And so, just having said that, that occurred tonight as well. And we haven't seen it here. I've been in this location, I think, for I don't know, maybe 10 days. We've seen several rainbows anyway. Whenever we're doing activations, these are the confirmations because it is the covenant of God, as you may know, that is real. It is God's seal, God's promise, and confirmation after activations are done by us. A rainbow of some sort, rainbow colors will appear in the sky. But nevertheless, the pink energy in the clouds also all appear there. So I'll stop there. Any questions or comments? Just unmute a couple more that just come in. Everyone hearing me all right?
Loud and clear, Rick. Loud and clear.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah. So I believe I went pretty much all I could into the ongoing sacral clearing right now. So, each one, what you may see or will see, you will be seeing the effects out there, but also you'll be feeling and seeing the effects in yourself. Now, it's also important to know that everything that happens to you and with you is just a test. So it's very important if something negative occurs, know that it's just a test that you have the answer to, that it's really nothing being, in your experience, nothing being, let's say, perpetrated towards you. You look at it as a test, and by doing that as a divine test and having no fear, you pass the test. And in any given time with anything, you always have the higher choice in a way to respond. And it's important not to respond in any aggression, frustration, annoyance. So you begin to learn and practice that, because if you're to do that, it only energizes a negative event quicker. So you look at every negative event that may occur around you just as a test, or it has a divine reason. But either way, you have the answers when you're calm and practice these certain things, so you know how to respond or act or react in any of those situations. You maintain your full trust with who you are and divinely, and your connection to God. So, full and absolute trust is the absence of fear. So, as you master your fear along the way and pass your tests, what occurs is that it keeps empowering your trust more and more, because through the tests of mastering fear, you also get empowered, and you see the confirmations that it is true what I'm saying. So it's important to look. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Dina.
Oh, hi. Hi, Rick. Um, I was just wanted to comment on doing the sacral uh, clearing. it was, you could really feel the sacral, energy. But I'm so glad that you mentioned about the right side of the brain, because there's been so much, for me, I couldn't figure out why they were, I felt so much energy, and, you could really almost feel like they're doing surgery. But I'm so glad that it is kind of confirmation for me that you're saying that. It makes so much sense. So I really appreciate that. And so as soon as you said that, then I've been seeing these solar flares. So I wanted to talk to you. This may not be the time to talk about it, but um, I think that's something that you and I need to maybe go over. But I was just, thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Dina, for the experience. Yeah, and I'd love if any others on here has listened to the 417 to also share your feedback. But also, Dina, you brought up an important thing. On the right side of the brain, I'll mention again, on the right side of the forehead, and even at the temple and on top, that area on the right side, if you get a sort of a pressure, like a little headache that comes and goes, uh, that it may just come like for a second after something has occurred or you heard something. On the right side, it's part of your message, divine messaging system of a quick discernment feature that you have. So if it comes on the right side, it's a yes. If it comes on the left side, it means a no. And if it means a no, whatever you're doing, just stop for a moment and even change your direction. Or if it's a no with something even that you may be reading, and you're given a no not to read it, then don't read it, because it may have some content that it would put in your consciousness that as a powerful co-creator you would not want there, because you could be energizing something negative, as an example. So on your left temple, frontal lobe, if you feel any pressure in there as you develop this gift, because more of you should be having it come online now so you can identify what it is. So on the left, it just means a no, and on the right, it means a yes. Now, also with this, Dina, if you don't mind, what we'll do is I want to comment on the flares, but after as well. But I'll stop for a moment right now, because what I'd like is, did anyone else have any experience with the 417 hertz? Have you done it yet? Do you have any feedback to share about your experience?
Well, I just put it on here on my laptop while I'm on the call just 2 minutes ago or so. And while listening to you and the tones, I was getting a really clear message on exactly what to do with a task I've been given and how to do it. And this clarity just feels amazing. And yeah, that just occurred, I guess, as soon as I put that on.
Well, excellent, Henry. Thank you. Yes, so this is in alignment with what I said about the photos I took where the eye appears in the sacral wide open and on the right side. Yeah, this is also beautiful because for the advanced ones, yes, it will increase the clarity, because you need to look at the energy that was nefariously put out there. It was keeping things suppressed. So, what we had found out today, and divinely, I was not given this direction or this information before. Uh, in the past, we were dealing with the heart, but yeah, clearing the sacral area and all of this. But we were more so focused on lately and in the past with the consciousness, looking at what frequencies that were being used to with the psychological psyop programs and the conditioning of the consciousness. So we're looking at what frequencies were directed towards the brain, the consciousness, to keep the programming intact, the matrix programming. And we're also looking at the heart, because the heart in the past, also where it resides on a certain frequency, that's somewhat in the past. I want to say in the past so I don't create anything, but the heart could be also fooled as long as the heart still had some fear in it because it resides on a certain frequency. So, what we were doing was monitoring the heart in the consciousness because it's connected together as one navigation unit in this ascension. For example, in the past, the feminine would rely mostly on what she felt in the heart, while the masculine would rely on what was in the consciousness, the logic aspect. But in this great time of harmony and bringing the relationships together as the prototypes, the templates for the new reality, and for the equality of the feminine and the masculine, then the heart and the brain, if you will, is connected in the feminine and the masculine alike with equality. So this is one of the reasons why the masculine, when they began their journey, that they've got to go in and open the heart chakra, the unconditional love, and connect that with the consciousness. And the feminine, where they already have, to the most degree, the unconditional love, the first, let's say, one of the first levels of love with the unconditional love, where they already have that activated. That is why they could trust more of their instincts and intuition, and also very powerful with it. But with the divine feminine, then the awakening with the consciousness. So then it's connecting their heart with their consciousness as more of a navigation system as well, for divinely operating in this now and through the ascension. So I might have kind of got a little bit off track there of what you said, but the clarity, Henry, yes, yes, this will also, because we're clearing that space. And, also in the feminine, in the sacral sacral area, that is the sacred womb area of the feminine. That is a creational portal, if you will, which is so important and so special. And it's important for the feminine to have the womb space cleaned and cleared. And especially, in this ascension in the past, what would typically happen for many of the divine feminine as they went into their empowerment process, because of the sacredcy of that creational space of their womb, they would go into periods of celibacy as well. So, as well as the masculine too, but the feminine, the womb space is so much more important. there's a lot more things that go on in there, of course, that doesn't go on in the masculine. And also, I'll take the liberty of the feminine womb space at this time to speak about the importance of feminine not smoking marijuana or taking DMT. And one of the reasons for this is because in the womb space, the feminine has natural DMT transmitters and receivers, and that is part of their uh, child birthing. It's part of that process where these transmissions, if you will, and even fluid secretions during the child birthing process are also, it releases into the body a certain amount of DMT to alleviate the pain that is associated with childbirth. Now, what occurs as the divine feminine clears her womb and is on the spiritual journey, if you will, if she is to smoke marijuana or to take DMT, then it affects her different in the womb and in the sacral area, because what you are doing is introducing into that area a foreign DMT. And also, it can, because it's foreign DMT, that it's not the body's natural DMT, it begins to cause conflict in the sacral sacral area, but also it causes confusion and it makes it more difficult for a divine feminine um, to get more clarity in the least, but there are also other effects with it. With the masculine doesn't have any of these natural DMT receptors in the stomach, in the womb, or well, they don't have the womb, but in that area. So they are not affected adversely as much as a feminine if they're still smoking marijuana, if you will. Now, also with this, when the masculine, um, there comes a time with both masculine and feminine that the beneficial effects of organic DMT or weed, that the consciousness energetics outpaces the benefits that it can have. And when this occurs, if one continues to smoke weed, it will have adverse effects on their reality and their consciousness. And it does inhibit the growth, but each one individually would confirm this for themselves. And each one is unique to the degree of the effects with it. So I've said a lot there, but thank you, Henry, on your experience. Anyone else got experiences with the 417? Did you do that today? We'd love to hear. Thank you. All right. Yeah. So in the future, we'll get feedback, and if when ones do the 417, hertz listening to it. Again, the instructions is as you turn on an audio of 417 sacral clearing, it's whatever pops up in your feed. You'll identify. There's many out there. There's meditative ones and specific parasite and implant cleanings or what have you. But don't the first one that pops up that resonates with you. You just listen to that one, and as you're audibly listening to it, laying down. It's important to be laying down flat when you do this. It has more of a good effect in your motionless, and you're still, and you're more sensitive to actually feel part of the process. But also, you'll be able to, where it's alleviating uh, the density, if you will. It begins to give the clarity on an abstract level that you're able also to identify, if you will, what you are being relieved of. So you may like that. You can put the audio wherever you prefer beside you, or you even can put it on your sacral sacral area, which is typically, most say it's just below the navel, but what I will say, it begins about an inch above the navel down to the root, to the top of the pubic hair area, roughly. So that is your sacral area. Um, with this, also, what it's going to do in both genders, it's going to increase the courage element, and that is increased because you're you were suppressed by fear. It made you domicile. It took away, for ones, it took away the courage. It took away the true morality. So ones were also morally corrupted and didn't even know it, if you will. So this is going to have amazing effects, and each one's experience will be, different somewhat, and can even be unique with this, and which is great. And that's why it's another reason to hear, the feedback, because even though I say the experiences could be unique, what you will find is that there will be the group that will experience the same things as well, because everyone is connected and there are similar themes that occur with anything at any given time. For example, with the Ascension symptoms, you can have the runny nose, the sinuses may begin, but what you'll find, it's summer in Canada, if you will, and it's winter in Australia, but both places with Divine Ones, you're getting reports of uh, sinuses dripping or what have you, not due to pollen or, the colds, but it's ascension symptoms related. So it's none of the natural things to any degree, is what I wish to say. So it's always best with any ailments or any discomforts, regardless if they're caused by, let's say, pollen, or if you do have a cold, always attribute it to an ascension symptom. And part of the reasoning for that, that also means that you get over it, and that you're not energizing something from the lower timeline, like a pollen allergy. Yes, you may continuously have it, but by thinking that your nose is dripping and your eyes is watering, by thinking that it's clearing your vessel and your sinuses and your upper cavities and even your brain, then what you do by thinking that, you actually clean those areas, and this expedites your ascension process and the evolution and the regenesis that occurs in, not only in, let's say, in the brain and the gray matter, but also in the neurotransmitters, which uh, are so important. So you begin to have a regenesis in those, and a regrowth, but also growing new tributaries on them, which is actually associated to your unbeknownst to you gifts, like your ability to levitate, if you will. So let's say a neuron will grow, that will facilitate that ability in the brain as well. Now, I could get very into detail and complicated with this, but I won't. I'll just touch onto it. Um, I'll go now quickly to the flares, what we had. Um, these volley of flares and X flares. Uh, we certain I have we have a certain divine tasking group that is doing, um, let's say, advanced divine architecture is what we call it, at upscaling creation is the best way to put it, through doing energetic activations. Now, we have access to the creator codes, which is creation codes, which enables us to do this. So we do also have some of the creator commands, to the degree that we're allowed to have them, to make, let's say, we make lightning when and where we need to, and when it's allowed. We also can create flares. And also, as we do activations, there's the divine component that will automatically do this as well, that will supply the energy to the divine ground crew work that we do. So with that, the recent flares, they are designated with divine stamps through numbers and through numerology that you can, for the most part, readily identify the attribution just by the numbers, and you know where it's being appropriated, that photonic light towards. So what I wish to say is that we are also uh, concurrently and ongoing doing activations. So there, when we need that photonic input of positrons, as well as plasma and magnetic plasma, which is feminine, but the positrons are more electric with lesser electrons in it, and the spin, that's why they're called positron, is clockwise and positive, because it aligns with positive energy, but it also, when it's applied to the planet, it enhances the positive reality, taking also out a lot of the negative reality. See, every event, every experience occurs on an energetic level with the polarity of the energy with it. But what you will find is that once you are in your higher mastery, and in the more trust you are in, which is positive, the higher your positive charge of your aura, your energetic field is. And what this does, because it's higher charged, positive, and pure, it repels negativity from you and from your reality. Now, understand there has to be yet some negativity, but what we call this is benevolent negativity, that's either there for divine training purposes, or it could be just a residue that come from another negative event, or it could also be residue that was geographically imprinted into the soil and surrounding area of Gaia herself. Nevertheless, the polarity is important with energetics. Any that are working with it, to be conscientious and to be knowledgeable of that as well. I'll stop there. Any questions or comments?
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, okay, so the solar flares that I noticed are here in the States. They're like northeast from me. So, um, and since I'm picking them up, am I supposed to be working with them?
Well, Dina, can you give me some clarity? You're saying that the solar flares are in the northeast from your position. What I wish to say is that the solar flares are distributed to all of the planet, all of Gaia. So, what are you meaning by that? Could you be more exact, please? Thank
Uh,
you.
well, northeast, like the Carolina, Washington kind of areas.
Uh,
Is
all right. With that, I believe what you're seeing is the light coming into that area, the light white rays. Are you seeing that with your eyes, or are you receiving that with your third eye?
third eye.
All right, all right. So what you're seeing, Dina, that is an important area where you describe North Carolina. What is there in that area which has a what you call a gatekeeper, a divine feminine, is where we have one of the 5D light nodules. Now, with any application of light as well, it goes in to all of the respective nodules. Now, more recently, this one that you're speaking about is so important because we did a recent activation here in Romania that was connected to a nefarious energetic network that had one facility in Tennessee. And as soon as we did this activation work, what occurred, because this one area in Tennessee, there was another one in California, another one in Colorado. I think it was four that were connected in the US, one in Panama, and one in Sweden. So this nefarious energetic technology network was connected to these six places, what we access to override the subliminal suppressing energy that it was emitting as well. But having said this, just when we did that activation a few days, excuse me, hold on. Yeah, when we did that activation a few days ago, what I had checked is I saw almost instantly, a few hours afterwards, that thunderstorms, and I knew it was tornadoes connected with them, had begun over Tennessee. One of the reasons why is because we changed that energetics that they had there, and everything is energy. So very quickly, it affected the weather patterns and, of course, all of the energy in that area. And I knew it was going towards the 5D nodule we had in North that we have in North Carolina, but also she reported, I saw the next day that a lot of trees had come down on her property and big hail and things, but everything was all right. But the point of this, by us taking out that nefarious energetic network, it then allowed for further empowerment in that direction, what you're looking at. So you're, I would say, seeing the light pillars because it's now also has been amplified because the 5D nodule in that area uh, needs to be, which it divinely is, upgraded to emit even more light out of it. But it's not only the nodule, it is the grid that is connected there. I think there is six primary ley lines that are connected to that nodule, which energetically distributes positivity out into reality as well. So, how if you will, how the darkness controlled the reality. Everything is energy. So by the darkness simply uh, negating the energy with mostly electrons with negative spins, then what that does, it affects ones to be negative. It also allows for accidents, and because accidents don't occur in positive energy, but in negative energy, areas that are negatively charged, they do. So everything is about energy. So, anything else, Dina, on that? Does that somewhat explain what you were seeing?
Right. It's been about a day or two since I've been seeing it. And I just didn't know if there was something I was supposed, since I was seeing it, that I was supposed to be doing something with it, like I did with Arizona and California. So, I was just I'm trying to get my communications, you know, uh, they're they're getting better, and as we speak, I don't know about anybody else, but my right side and my ear is just pinging, and I've it feels like I've got this antenna that goes all the way up to the clouds. And I don't know if, well, you nobody else has done the sacral, but maybe after you all do it, you might feel the same thing. I would be interested to know if you do, but that's just what I'm experiencing. So yeah, I was just wondering, Rick, really, since I saw the flares or light, if I was supposed to be working with them. But I guess I'm just noticing.
Well, thank you, Dean. I see two things with this. One reason why you saw them and you're on this call tonight was to share as well, so I could deliver some more of that important information about one of the activations that we didn't put out public yet because it's still ongoing. I put some things out, so it was important that it give me the opportunity to speak about it now, but also it identified for you an important area in the least, to watch, but it's getting stronger and stronger. And also, there was something else I was going to say with that. So yeah, everything with us occurs for a reason. It has a purpose. There really is nothing trivial that occurs in the experience of ones that have advanced in their divinity. Oh, I know what I was going to say. And Dina, yeah, what I need to say is there's what we call, quote, the parapsychological gifts, unquote, which is ESP, the extrasensory perceptions. Um, but there's also new gifts that are unknown, that are not on that list yet. And having said this, there will be and is ones with new gifts that are becoming activated, and that they have, and that the individuals are to develop. So I also wanted to put that out there. And that's also why it's important, for, as you're doing, to share openly uh, with ones, so that what we do is we populate the content out there on the internet, because there are others as well. So then, the more we get the content out there and the confirmation that it's happening, you have ones that were kind of like alone, but then they see it and they become connected as well. And even with that process, it assists all. That's why I always, or a lot of times at least, encouraging everyone, don't remain in your closet. Your beacons of light and you're to come out and share your truth. We are not in the times now where anyone that is divinely advanced can be locked up thinking you're crazy. We are not in those times. It's important to shine your light and shine it bright. And as I said before, if you know you are a Christ, if you know you're a Mary Magdalene, or whatever your divine identity may be, it's important, to put that out there, to proclaim it even in this reality, because what it also does is there's other brothers and sisters we have out there that it will also incentivize those to step up as well. And the more of us beacons and lights that are out there for the world to see, the quicker we transition the overall ascension in the reality. So we get out of this ridiculous, insane, savage purgatory and we get the mission completed. So, everything that one does in the good ways and in all of, the truth and the higher consciousness and, of course, the love in the heart, it all has a good effect, and it does something in some way. But no matter how small it may seem, again, you need to know the butterfly effect. How you do one good little thing, one good deed, if you will. Well, the energy from that good thing is so powerful, it ripples, if you will, and affects everything all around the world and in the sky and all space. Because when you do that good thing, if you will, that's in alignment with purity, it's in alignment with all of creation. And when you look at the most smallest particle or molecule of creation, um, a molecule from your body is the same as the air, it's same as the star. So when you're in your co-creator status, you have the connections to all of the space, if you will, and you will affect everything, if you, at least in the universe. So it's important to know the extent of that's a I was just having a cherry. That was a sour one. Any other questions or comments? Any topics that anyone would just wish me to speak a little bit about? All right. Yeah. So as ones know, I keep just so busy divinely most days, and having said that, I put things out on Facebook for the divine brothers and sisters that are not on Telegram. I do this on Telegram when I can, with this open mic and also with this channel. But also, we have a twin flame private group on Telegram, what I started up. So then that as well takes some of my time. So I attempt to contribute to that when I can, and also sharing the new higher knowledge and more into depth on the twin flames and the powers and the abilities, and if you will, being a guide as well for them. And so I do that, and then also some physical activations we do here, and then most of the day, as well as messages that come in on Facebook or Telegram that I assist ones, or even just collaborate with ones, because when we have the higher consciousness talks, just by having that, the higher consciousness talks, ripples out through the collective consciousness as well, because everyone, unbeknownst to them, everyone that's ascending has telepathy, and and some more so are aware of what they have. So the the divine higher consciousness talks are important as well, and it's another way of purveying information outward. You know, someone could have a eureka moment, if you will, but it also could be the result that they picked it up telepathically, or also it could be from their own soul, with clearing and beginning to access more of their divine channels. But the important thing is everything you do has an effect. And what I was saying, yeah, I keep so very divinely busy. But as I said in the beginning of this, I'm going to uh, need a little bit of time off because I got to upgrade this physical vessel. I need to get some more exercise and get it toned up a little bit, if you will. And also, I have to do with my energetic field. I need to upgrade it and do the 417. I did a little bit earlier today. I need to do that as well with my energetic field, because we all have it, because we're in this energetic environment. It doesn't mean that it affects you negatively, but it needs to be cleared before we go to the next energetic level. So I need to, I'm beginning to do this now, but what I'm saying also, I need to um, be, I need to do I don't call it inner work because I've done all that. I'm an ascended master, but I need to, you can say inner work with the energetic field, that there's a required divine work now, so I can allow for this physical vessel to advance more forward in the crystalline process. So, just sharing with all of you that I'm not exempt to all of, let's say, the ascension symptoms and all of this, because I am, we are all, with this part of the one that we are. And there are certain times that I do get the symptoms, because I need to get them to have a gauge on, at any given time, what is going on with the collective. Because if I get a symptom, I also read the energetic imprint and all of the messages connected with it, so that I know what's occurring with a certain theme at any time as well. And I will share with you sometimes, not, I wouldn't say not so much in the recent past, but before, when Rick's human, uh, I don't call bad ego, but when Rick's ego wanted to do something in the past, and if I wasn't divinely allowed, if it was important that I didn't go somewhere, Father made sure that I would not move. So I obey, and I know this, and all of you are always divinely accompanied by your angelics, and to whatever it may be. So we know that everything is fine, and we're ascending, and for the most part, so many of you are, well, perhaps some of you are immortal already, you just don't know it, but more of you are also becoming that, because we don't die, is the reality. And what we're doing is taking these physical vessels from one dimension to the other. And that's why the crystalline component in the vibration and the frequency is so important. Because, again, uh, negativity. And if you look at this place, purgatory, if you will, it resides on a certain frequency. We're going to the heaven on earth, which resides on a higher frequency. So the physical humanoid vessels need to be upgraded from the dense carbon base into the crystalline base to be able to sustain a frequency and a vibration that where negativity and fear doesn't exist. So your physical vessels are important, and that's why so many um, need to take care with your diet and take care of your physical vessel. And what I'm saying, I also do that. So yes, you're all gods and goddesses, but you're also not fools, that you know it's still important to be responsible for your physical vessel, your temple, to ensure that it makes the trip. Your physical vessel is the ship to the next dimension, and it's important that you keep it in ship shape, if you will, by being responsible with your diet and what you do, and pay close attention to your physical body and keep it, of course, as clean of chemical foods and that you can. Because what happens with chemicals when it's in your cells, in your body, and especially if it's heavy metals like gold or silver or chromium or aluminum, these are all energetic conductors that can put your natural um, energy out of whack. Because they're electrical conductors, they can cause distortions in your energetic field. So it's important to know that in the case of aluminum, that is more so an insulator. And if you are, have a higher concentration of aluminum in your body and in your cells, it acts like a blanket that doesn't allow for your physical vessel to advance, because it's a blanket like blocking a lot of the photonic light as well from activating your DNA of the epidermis, if you will, higher. So these are some of the effects with the heavy chemicals. And once you have a saturation of heavy metals in the body, it will accumulate in the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. And if you start to have problems in that area, if you will, spirulina is a good thing to take that begins to break it up. But you don't want to be putting the chemicals in the body, because your cells, it takes a period of, in the past, it used to take 7 years to replace every cell in the physical vessel. For some now, it's been as low as a year and a half. But if you still look at that, it is still a process. So it's important to be prudent and meticulous in what you eat and drink. Any questions or comments?
Well, yeah, actually, I do.
Go ahead, Dina. I love you. You're amazing.
Okay. Well, as Rick, you were talking, there's this light being here. I don't know who they are. They must be new, or they just made themselves really known to me. And it has to do with every single person that is listening right now. That's on this cast. That each one of you has, as we are listening to Rick, we were doing something all together. There's certain kinds of gifts that you all have. And I saw this pie, and each piece was cut and then it was put back, and fit into this large pie. And all of us had the same size pie, the piece, everyone was just equal. But we all did something together to help something. I'm not sure what, but they wanted me to let you know how important you are. And little things are so important. The little things you do are so important. And to remember to connect the dots so you have confirmation from maybe today, and then a couple of months from now, something will happen, and then you'll have confirmation about today. So that was just something that they wanted me to relate back to you all. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dina. Yes. So what's occurring is, energetically, what Dina's speaking about, we all have gifts and codes. And when we gather together, and this is what I love, where two or more gather in his name, in this case, it is the same. We're gathering with the Ascension, which is in God's name, if you will. There is the transfer of gifts and codes that goes back and forth. And what it does also, it is the codes that I have or others has, that it all gets distributed among us. And this is like the pie shape, what you're seeing, coming apart from one going to another. So yes, your gifts are being enhanced as well. And I thank you, Dina, for saying that, because then that also shows, it's indicative for I, already the higher vibratory reality and frequency that we're in, for this to be occurring, with a online discussion like this, because in the past it's mostly in the physical, being in the presence of another auras. Then there is the energetic gifts and codes that was uh, was exchanged and shared. So this is perfect. Thank you so much for that. Also, Dina, it feels like it might be a Syrian presence there. Do you got any identity on Syrian or Elysium? Elysium. Is it a tall being, or do you have any description, please?
I think it's Syrian because I see in blue, and it was just recent that something about blue ray, and the Syrian has a lot to do with the blue ray. So, and it seems like, I don't know if A.O. Henry might also have something to do with that. But yes, I think you're right. I was just looking that up the other day. Yes.
Wow. Well, I love this, Dina, as well, because you're so perfectly on. One of the recent activations that we're doing that I didn't publicize much, the Syrians with an interceptor ship was also here assisting with the activation. And what I will say, there is a blue energetic electric line that is connected from Angkor Wat, um, directly into Mount Bucegi here in Romania, and a few other areas. And yes, one of its attributes is Syrian, and it is electric. And also, we need to add in the Pleiadian component, because when we did that activation that day, the Pleiadian ships, also several of us could identify the Pleiadian cloud plasma ships that had the rainbow colors on the fringes, at least. So, Dina, your gifts, I know, are absolutely exact. And Dina, send me a message after the show because there's something um, I wish to, yeah, just remind me if you will, because there's something that I need to request of you, if you will. Thank you. Anything else? Any additions? Anything, Henry? But just before Henry, Dina, you also brought out the AO with Henry. Now, uh, it's important that you mentioned AO for Alpha and Omega. So we are ending the Omega and the old Orion draconian matrix is what we're ending. But the alpha is what we're energizing and is a current theme and topic. And some of you, if you're on Facebook, you might have saw Femke put out about the alpha feminine wolf. But also we've been doing alpha uh, activations as well, which, alpha is the new beginning in the least, and much more. So I just wanted to point that out, the accuracy also of your gifts at associating that with what we're saying now. But I'll stop there.
Yeah, it's interesting. On I was given the name Al when I was in Hawaii in like early 2021, and I was just guided. It was like I was on the island of Kauai, and I was in this period where I was being guided that the island was like a compass, and I was being guided every day to go to different places to send light to in the different directions to the planet. And I found myself over these cliffs for 3 days in a row, and I was just kinda, like, chanting different sounds, and after a few days, it became clear that the main sound I was chanting was "Ow," and then in meditation, I was told that that was, like, the sound of my soul or something like this. And, um, and it's interesting because later I got different meanings of the name other than the Hawaiian meaning, which is also connected to New Zealand where I was incarnated. But it's interesting the Alpha and the Omega came, but also Ao in Japanese means blue. So thought that was funny for the what you were saying. So
Beautiful. Yeah. In Japanese means blue. Yeah, yeah. So synchronistic, but also now, Henry, you brought up there's something coming up with Japan. I've been given this several years ago by Father, the significance of Japan, but not given yet, at least, too much information on it. I know we did a activation there. I don't know, several months ago in preparation, but there's still something significant with Japan. But where you brought this up now, in alignment with this blue, you may have also given another clue of not another clue, another bit of information for the ongoing current activation. So I'll look in that later. Thank you for that, brother. So very good. And this is how, by the collaboration and speaking, how information is released and the dots connected, as Dina said, and then because everyone has a piece to the puzzle, to the levels, and by everyone in communion, in collaboration, if you will. That's why I say, the unity is so important, that it's through the unity and the collaboration that you get a flood of dots sometimes, that is the instructions when you connect the dots to elevate you to the next level as well. But not only that, by recognizing, by having the conscious conversations, by recognizing this, you can also be just so much more efficient at not only catapulting yourself forward, but the others as well. When I say forward, I should say in empowering yourself more and more. And that empowerment, that embodiment gets reflected out in reality and distributed as adding a higher level layer to reality. So, having said that, any questions or comments?
Hi, Rick.
Hey, beautiful Nessa sister, go ahead.
I would just like to thank Sister Dina, which she's confirming. When I started listening to this chat, um, I fell asleep and I lost a bit of time. And when I woke up, I woke myself up with a little snore, and Dina explained where I was probably. And just to point out that it was when she was talking, we were at 17 participants. Love, light, and gratitude.
Excellent. And thank you for that, because then this also goes in what Dina was getting, is that we're actually doing something here as well, that we're doing some sort of an activation or some sort of divine work. And also, with this, Fiona, um, that in the past, because you're part of an activation team, we have seen this with you and other ones, and even Femke at times, that when there was a certain divine activation going on, that you and I know you know the time I'm speaking about. Both of you were conked out. You were doing parts divinely of the activation that I was speaking with Nya, Sister Nya. We were speaking through a part of the activation while both of you, unbeknownst to you and all of us until later, uh, were divinely in there doing the feminine energetic work on another level. So I believe that's what occurred here tonight, which is whoa, powerful and beautiful. Thank you. Anything else to add to that?
Yes, it's very powerful. And Henry has pointed out the blue, and Tony saw a blue arrow in the sky the other day. So there's so many dots being joined here. This is quite a powerful chat tonight. So thank you all.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, and thank all as well. I didn't anticipate, it taking this direction tonight, which is beautiful and divinely powerful, and also fun to see, the contributions of each as well. So a very great experience with this, and I'm divinely ecstatic, if you will, at this point in very good ways. So, any other comments or questions on the ascension, your individual journey, or any of that? So, go ahead. I'll just open the floor again. Please, someone step up. Don't be shy. This is all connecting.
Well, if no one else is going to speak, maybe I can prompt someone, because I did notice that while Rick was speaking before, Dina shared what she experienced with the Syrian being coming in, that Rick was talking about physical health. And earlier on today, I actually spoke with Rick on the phone, and I mentioned to him that I went and did Qigong today for the first time. in maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 6 days. And when I have spare time or time to just be, uh, I often am stretching or doing qigong or something, and it's certainly part of my divine role here on earth, is to just keep moving the energy, expanding the body, welcoming in more light and this stuff. But it's becoming more and more and more apparent as I'm out in the so-called public that the posture, the energy flowing through my body it catches people's eye, and I have all kinds of different interactions come from it. So, and when I was sharing that with Rick, it was just a new level of gratitude for the time I've had to expand and ascend my body to the level it's at now, because Rick's so divinely busy assisting others while I've been going through my process of my inner work. I've been obviously really moving things within my body. So maybe my part in this call to just maybe share that it is a fun, amazing, expanding experience to stretch and move if you do have time. Yeah, much love, guys.
Thank you, Henry. Anyone else have a question or comment or wish to contribute?
Yeah, my name is Kisitu George from Uganda, the representative of GPMS. Me, I don't have much to say, but I just wanted to thank you, Brother Rick, for everything you're doing and putting open to the world. This is all what we needed to hear, and this is what the world wants to hear, and this is exactly everyone should hear. Yeah. Thank you so much, all GPMS members. Be blessed.
Thank you, brother Kisichu. Yeah, so it's not only Rick with GPMS. We have Henry, Tony, and Nessa, Dina, maybe Darla. We have Sharon. We have others on the call here tonight that are also a part of this. And what I wish to say, it's all of us that are uniting at this glorious time, including you, Kasitu, taking this all forward for humanity. So it's not just Rick; it's all of us together. I'm just one of all of us, if you will. But thank you for that. So it needs to be known, as well as you in Uganda has begun also to know uh, the heaven on earth, which is gpms.world, and how we quickly get the world to it through the simple voting process. So if anyone's on here or listens to this, it's important that you know there's a divine worldwide referendum that is ongoing at collecting the consents, the votes, the agreements of each individual for the new world, the new earth. So we have all of the guidelines of abundance and freedom. It's all in place, more or less, what we will do. And with that, it's so important that each individual agrees with this new world. So this is also your ticket to the new world, but also you're making it happen physically in the physical manifest through a simple vote that everyone is familiar with. And once we get the worldwide vote, majority vote, then it occurs, to keep it simple. So anyone that's may not be aware, gpms.world is our website. Go there and vote and consent if you want the new world to get out of this hell, if you will. It's happening, and it's very real. It's not It's not a deception or an illusion. It's actually occurring, and it's being done uh, lawfully from the higher divine law, which means that nothing can stop it on the planet, nothing from the old system. But it takes the majority to vote for it so that this new reality is supported. So you cannot have the heaven on earth scenario here if the majority of the other human soul uh, co-creators do not support it. So this is why it's important to shift the focus from this reality for everyone to know you now have a choice, and it's so easily done through the majority vote, but you need to support the new reality instead of this old one. And then this old one just falls away, the matrix. You don't need to do anything to it. It organically, uh, by default, or well, it falls away itself. So by everyone putting the focus on the new world, the old world cannot exist because it's not energized as well. So it's common sense, and it is the divine plan, and it's we've even put it logical that even someone that's maybe not awake, if they take the time to just look at the website and see it's a voting process, and everyone knows if they're not awake that the majority rules, if you will. So that's kept simple. Thank you, Kasitu. Any other questions or comments? What I will,
And
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and even today, as I was at church, when I tried to tell them all about GPMS, many raised up their hands and asked me very different questions, but lucky enough, they asked me the exact questions you told me last time, and I was able to answer them all. Yeah. Then they told me to go back on Wednesday. We shall have a meeting with all church members, so that I can teach them more about GPMS before them consenting. So I'm very ready to go there that date, and I'm very ready to explain all about GPMS so that they can all vote, including the pastor. Yes.
This is excellent news. Thank you so much. And yeah, so if anything needs to be done, Kasitu, in another meeting or something, please reach out to Sister Beatrice, and she can accommodate that, I believe, or facilitate it. But this is very great news. And so what I wish to say, it's quite possible, I think I said it before, but it's quite possible we'll be in the new heaven on earth scenario right here uh, in November, or if not before. So that is possible. I don't see it being, let's say, with what I know and what I see, it is very close, meaning that I don't see it going past November, but it could be, Father, give that a tentative date as a result of things aligning by others and on the timelines, that we could be very close. And what I will say, over the last couple of days, we're seeing more coming into it as well. So I'm seeing the indicators to make it happen much quicker. And ideally, if GPMS was to go viral around the world and we could collect that majority vote in less than a month. And so ones need to realize this as well. Once the consciousness and um, not only the consciousness, once uh, the majority of the human souls has enough of the old matrix and they're being constantly squeezed and pressured. So there, there comes the breaking point when they begin to look for something else to take them out of the system and to have another choice. And that's what gpms.world is. It's the choice that saves them. Yeah, it saves humanity from all the misery and injustices and what have you. But nevertheless, any other ascension related questions or comments? I wish just to uh, go off of the divine plan of gpms.world. At this time, it is the divine plan. It is the new reality. It is the first level of the fifth dimensional ascension for the overall, for the planetary ascension. But it's we continue on to other things from there if we wish. But having said that, it is the ascension vehicle for the planetary ascension for those going at least to the fifth dimensional space, where it's harmony, peace, balance, and love based on the planet, and compassion and sharing and caring and all of the good attributes, where the old negative fear based attributes are not there. And what I need to say, if someone thinks that it's impossible, that it would take years, what I say, no. Because you could look at the analogy of one enlightened one connected with Source, Prime Creator, God, how they affect a million on what they do. So when you can look at the 100th monkey effect as well, with a superior thing like gpms.world. It just assimilates, it goes through to everyone, and it assimilates the old reality. But also, when you have, if you will, the Christos Sophia ones that are, both masculine and feminine, when you have about 6,000 of those in unity, let's say if we had them all here tonight, all of us, if we had the 6,000 in unity, it creates a flash point in the consciousness. It creates a paradigm shift, meaning that ones are, let's say, instantly able to see how the old negative fear ways. They just know it consciously not to do it, and that it doesn't serve. It's not the right way. So you have the paradigm shift in consciousness that also occurs. So it's a misconception thinking that you need the masses awakened. Really, all you need is the enlightened 6,000 of the enlightened divine ones, that if they're in connection and all united, it does it as well. Because it creates, it's the energetic effects of it that does it. So having said this, it can be done quickly, and I fully divinely believe it is. This is the reason all of you have been going through your divine boot camp training. It's the reason for, all of your suffering. You needed to see that, so you know what needed to be done on the planet. It's the reason why you changed your diets, you took care of your body, why you began to do the inner work why you saw more higher spiritual teachers and influencers more and more out there populating the internet, because it's all part of the divine ascension. It's not happening by chance. And this is the same as the great awakening. When one awakens, if you will, it's not happening by chance. It's all divinely orchestrated, and it's for the reason, and it's for the reason to transition this world quickly out of purgatory and into the heaven on earth scenario. So, with that, anyone else have a question or a comment or wish to speak or add to anything we said so far?
Oh, I just felt to say hi. Good evening.
Hey, Juki, thank you. And my love to, Oscar. My love to little Oscar. Thank you. Anything happening you wish to share, Juki, in your reality magically?
Uh,
No, go ahead, Kasich.
then I think I'm among the lucky ones today, because this is my third or fourth time to come live speaking. Today, when I was church, still I faced up some challenges, but I don't think whether it's fine to speak them out here, or I need only to be speaking them to you in your inbox. Is it okay if I speak them out here?
Well, let's try one if you wish to, and keep it right to the point. Yes, go ahead, Kisichu. Just let's look at one, what you're saying. Thank you.
Yes, today, as I was explaining to the church members, because I have also sent videos and some photos to Sister Beatrice, I showed her when I was at church, when I was trying to explain and teach church members about GPMS. But the challenge I'm facing is all about my cell phone. My cell phone is a bit old and it freezes when I'm writing or consenting people's name. It sometimes freezes and say temperature, what temperature is high, then the phone freezes and stops working. So I'd like your players to pray for me so that I can register more than 100 people in the next meeting, or to pray for me, no, my phone not to freeze in the next meeting. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, brother. I'm smiling here because you're being more divinely energized as well. And what I need to say, we also affect our electronics. And, there's with the great divine aligned enthusiasm and what you're creating there with the joy by getting ones in alignment with GPMS. Yeah, the energy sometimes will overload the phones and things and cause them to heat. So I'm very happy to hear this experience. And what I need to say, in the future, for ones like you, will be able, as a missionary, what I mean, a GPMS missionary, that things will be accommodated. But I love what you just said. Yes, because it's an important indication for me, brother, that you are divinely connected as well, to be affecting the phone and these sort of things. What I will say it's important not to have anxiety, not to get too overexcited, because if you do, your own energetic field will more affect your phone. So go with your great calmness. And it's great to be excited, but not to a large degree in the beginning until you learn how more to control your energy and your energetic divine composure, if you will, as well. And when you get a lot of excitement around you, like you might have had today because of the joy and bliss, yeah, when you look at your phone, it's from a fourth dimensional reality. And if you've got everything fifth dimensional energy, the phone is not compatible with that. So it won't work and it will overheat as well. And this is some of the divine physics associated with what we do. So this is great news. Do you
Yeah,
have,
and also
yeah.
to see too, you can message Beatrice, and she can give you a sheet where you can fill in people's names on like a piece of paper with a pen or a pencil, so that they can be entered later into the system, so that you're not fully dependent on your phone. This is how a lot of people are doing it in the Philippines and India who don't have access to the internet.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you, Mr. Henry. Go ahead.
Yes, I made that recently. That's what I've been doing for some time back. Then also, Sister Beatrice also sent me a note. I have many names written on a piece of paper. She told me someone sent that paper from Uganda, so she told me to consent their names or to make them vote. She sent me a piece of paper, but there comes, if a person comes to you when in a hurry and she or say, I don't want to write my name, but I just want to vote directly. So it requires me to give her or him a time to do as he or she asks me to do. And I'm also writing names on papers and then consent after. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great. Thank you for that. What I will be doing, I think, in the near future, whenever I say anything, it's not for certain, because with what I do, things are subject to divine priority. I'll find myself feeling to, let's say, promptly or not promptly, to tentatively schedule, um, let's say, a live or an open mic or a meeting. But what occurs with it, I do them impromptu because things divinely change so quickly with what I am doing, that I get divinely called, let's say, to other priority matters. So, and and when I get called like that, I must do it. So it makes it a little bit. I need to do open mic discussions and lives more so on an impromptu basis. I have even anticipated uh, from the Rick part on the planet to do a Facebook Live update for ones every Friday. I've said that a bit ago, and that just did not divinely present. But having said this, GPMS one, I do anticipate to have one of those on here soon as well, if it occurs. So thank you with that, Kisichu and Henry. Ah, there's the cuckoo bird. Must be almost time to go. But any other comments or questions? All right, that's looking great. I don't know how long we've been on here, but I'll stop the recording. Oh wow, yeah, we're on here
Hello.